I'm Johnny Smith.
I'm Richard Porter.
And this is Smith & Sniff, a podcast in which two friends talk about cars and many other things. Hey, do you know what inflation is, Rich? Have you heard of it?
I've seen it mentioned a couple of places.
Well, listen, I'm not fucking about. I don't even know what it is, but what I do know is at 2.2 currently. It's just changed as of like a week or so ago, which, you know what this shit means? 2.2% inflation. Yeah, that means, listen, we could have like a seismic shift in things like FTSE 100 shot of like NOS or something. If more than like 500 Prelude 2.2 simultaneously accelerated, you could reverse time. Possibly economic clusterfucks could be like changed back to what they were before. GDP, yeah, I don't even know what it is, but that could change shit. Yeah, I'm telling you, we're entering a new era.
I ain't ever seen a basket of goods do what it did, yeah.
Seriously, yeah. What it means, yeah, is I drive to the fuel station, yeah, and I pay 100 quid, and like it could be more than what the 100 quid was like last week. Is that right?
It makes me really and strangely proud that we've broken people's brains, that when they announced that inflation was at 2.2%, the number of messages we had from people going, "You bastards." I can only hear it said in that voice. So there's some very serious news people going inflation.
I just had screen grabs of the news and then the word "believe" with a full stop underneath.
Yes.
So I'm very proud of that.
Well, you know, as a friend of ours said, this is the world you've created. So we'll take that.
Believe. And ever since sharing Prelude Man with the world, I think I've seen fewer Preludes. I think they're shying away from me. I don't get to see that many. No, I think the last Prelude I saw was with you. And were we in America at Renspolt's?
No, we've seen one since then, sure.
Have we? Did we see one in down near Chichester, a Goodwood weekend? Was it the body-kitted one?
Oh, yeah, maybe we did. But you're right. I mean, the one that sticks in the mind because the sheer delight that we took in it was that one just parked on a street in America that we I
think I took a knee for it.
We got overexcited about. You did. I've got a photo.
I took a knee.
We put it somewhere on social media or the Patreon or something. Yeah.
Well, I've had an idea, you know, about non-stop talking John on that side of things, because lots of people have said, would you be able to record his voice? And I've said, absolutely out of the question. But
yeah, I feel like that's a step too far.
But I thought these days the popularity of audio books and obviously podcasts and people leaving audio messages on WhatsApp instead of typing stuff, I feel like there could be an avenue here. What about if Non-Stop Talking John started an audio Haynes manual? I could probably reach out to Haynes and say, this guy's really knowledgeable. He could explain how to troubleshoot car electrics, and you just record him and then just run away and see what happens.
Hang on, though. Haven't Haynes ceased to exist?
What?
Haven't they?
No, Haynes haven't gone.
Oh,
they've just
they
gone
stopped
digital.
publishing books. Oh, that's right. Yes, beg your pardon. Okay,
I know
sorry. Unnecessarily panicked people there.
You have. They've gone.
Sorry.
Yeah, they've gone off of paperless and all that.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's different, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought to myself, actually, it could be a good avenue to explore. How many sort of OTSOT troubleshooting audio? It is an audio book, but it's an audio tech book, text to help.
Well,
you.
Also, there's that whole thing now of people on YouTube who help you to mend things, aren't there? Because I've used them for like getting a radiator valve unstuck and things like that. And so he could do those, I suppose.
I would love him to do those, sort of like car electrics for idiots on that side of things. And,
yeah.
and it would just...
Hang on.
We'd all tune in.
What did you say, though, that you saw him recently and he's changed it a bit? He's changed it up to on that side of it?
Yes, it was on that side of it. Yes, it was. And I had to really hold composure. I found it ever so difficult I felt like the world was listening in, and if I was to corpse at any moment, everyone would join in, and John he'd probably kill me. I still have half of a worry that he'll come round and give me a good hiding one day, because he's a lovely guy. I'd go as far as to say he's an SSG. But,
okay.
Yeah, which is...
I sort of assumed he was, but...
He is. He is. And he's extremely talented in the car electronics diagnostics game on that side of things. So... Honestly, it's amazing. Canvas. That would be his first album. His first album will be called Canvas Otsot. And then it'd be... Or he might do ODB 2 for dummies.
Right. But maybe he could do a covers album. And it would always be Unchained Melody on that side of things. He's done a cover of Katy Perry's Firework on that side of things. What do you mean firework on that side of things? Baby, I would love it if he was to just do firework on that side of things.
I'd love him to write all of the local what's on guide in the local paper.
Yes, just the players are doing an adaptation of Willie Russell's Stags and Hens on that side of things.
Yeah.
Local artist Patricia Rue is doing a new exhibit of her watercolours on that side of things.
Well, that's the name of the gallery exhibition.
It becomes baffling because you go, well, yes, it's being held in the Wilson Memorial Hall on that side of things. You know, oh, for fuck's sake, I'm struggling to distinguish the information from the tick.
Monty Don is coming to town where he's going to do a gardening Q&A in front of a live audience on that side of things.
Now, but on that side of things, I forgot to mention on the podcast, I mentioned to you in real life that, you know, ages ago, we were talking about what wood pigeons are saying.
Yeah.
And quite a lot of people said that Radcliffe and Maconie, out of the radio, devoted quite a lot of time to this, and their winning answer was, "My toe hurts, Betty. My toe hurts, Betty. My toe hurts, Betty." Which is perfect, and it does work. And now that's all I can hear when I hear wood pigeons, except that they typically then cut themselves short, because they'll go, "My toe hurts, Betty. My toe..."
They do.
Oh, okay.
They take the stylus off the record, don't they, pigeons?
They really do. You need a little pigeon record scratch. But what I realised the other morning, I was lying in bed when we were away, and I could hear wood pigeons.
Oh, that would drive me mad.
You can actually...
holiday. Oh.
Yeah, I didn't. It was okay. It was time to get up anyway.
No, but
you can make that phrase fit it as well. On that side of things. On that side of things. On that. Oh, it's done. On that side of things. On that side of things. Once I'd realised that, I was a bit like, oh God, that's my.
That would be amazing. Broken. An Otsot pigeon.
Well, they just do it, don't they? But it's like not everything fits, but that really does.
I might go and record John when he's next in town, diagnosing another Discovery 4 that shat itself, and he'll be running a load of laptops through it, but there'll be pigeons in the background, almost goading him.
Talking as we sort of are about auto electrics.
Yeah.
Can I read you an email from a listener called Jonathan Matthias?
Sure.
He says, "Hello, SSGs. John from Mill Hill here, first-time caller. I've been meaning to recount this tale for a while. About 20 years ago, my wife and I decided, after a succession of crappy MPVs, to get a decent car. And before long, a run-out edition of the first-gen A6 All-Road materialised on our drive.
Oh.
Very handsome motor it was, too, in black metallic with body-coloured wheel arch extensions. On any given Sunday afternoon, I could be found sitting in the car, raising and lowering the ride height, just because I could. I think, did they not used to go on the piss after a while?
They did. I'm almost worried for him.
Yeah, that's a dangerous game. John says, being a run-out edition, it came fully loaded with VAG's top-of-the-range RNSE infotainment system. I didn't know it was called that, but there we go. In addition to the 6-disc multi-changer, handy for Sade fanatics, hidden behind the motorised display was an SD card slot where you could load up to 2 gigabytes worth of your own MP3 files. God, do you remember these times?
Yeah.
It seems so far away now, but
Yeah, I do.
as the music played, through the magic of its Teutonic tech, the track name was displayed in a little monochrome display on the dash.
I love the
Incredible
monochrome
stuff.
The Game Boy display. I really like it.
Yes. We decided to take the kids on an inaugural road trip around France that summer, and the Vita was pretty bloody dolce as we sped along lightly trafficked autoroutes at a cruise-controlled 81 miles per hour.
Very precise.
As a fan, it's very precise. As a family, we were big fans of Amy Winehouse's debut album, Frank, and it had been duly loaded up in digital form while we planned the trip, alongside a few other early noughties classics. Amy's inimitable husky tones were resonating around the Alcantara-trimmed cabin, but the mood was abruptly shattered as I shouted, "Oh, shit!" and immediately put the hazards on and prepared to pull across 3 lanes to the hard shoulder. What had caused this panicky response, you may well ask? I'd casually cast my eyes across the dash and, to my absolute horror, read the somewhat alarmist message, 06, fuck me pump, on the display.
What?
Clearly the 2.5-litre V6 TDI was moments from self-destructing, leaving us stranded by the side of the road. "Sorry, everyone, I think we have a big problem," I said in a not very reassuring way, as I popped the bonnet expecting a cloud of steam or blue smoke to emerge from the stricken engine. Surely Ingolstadt's engineers would only resort to such a sweary message in the most dire of mechanical malfunctions. There was nothing obviously awry under the bonnet, just the gentle ticking of the cooling turbo. So I got back in the car to look up the warning message in the manual. But I noticed the display was now reading, 07, I heard love. The penny dropped.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Amy, for your incredible music. We will miss you forever. Wherever you are, I hope you're still making music. But thinking about the distress that shortened track names on the dashboard display might cause to the drivers of 20-year-old Audis.
That's so good.
It's the track's called "Fuck Me Pumps," isn't it? And but obviously there's no room on the display. But the idea that Audi would go, now there's a part of this engine that's called the "Fuck Me Pump," and when it goes wrong, we'll let you know.
It's called the diesel pump, really.
Yeah, well, exactly. John says, I wonder if you or your listeners might like to suggest other track names that could be misinterpreted in a dashboard LCD display context. I don't think you'll beat the "Fuck Me Pump." That's amazing. So I thought I'd just read that out since we're talking about car electrics.
Love it. And it's making me realise that might be one of the best looking family estates of the last 30 years.
Yeah.
It's so nice, that A6.
Was it later models, or perhaps it was an option all along to have the arches body coloured? But I quite liked them when they weren't on a green one.
Me too. And I've said it before on probably when we were in video form. There was a someone around here with a yellow A6 all-road first gen, with obviously grey plastics or black plastics all round, and they bought it new, and I've always it's gone now, and they bought a yellow Mercedes of something else, so they obviously like yellow. But I wanted to ask Audi, and maybe I still should, to say, I bet that is the only yellow UK Audi all-road of the first generation. I cannot believe anybody else would have ordered it in that colour. It looked cool.
I have this dim memory, and I'm sure Audi nerds will correct me on this, that colours like that, were they not special order? Like there was a sort of separate range of spicy colours that was not part of the main palette.
Oh yeah, you would have paid a few thou for it.
Didn't you meet a nice lady in the Isle of Man who had a special order yellow M5?
Yeah. It wasn't an M5 though, it was a 520. That's what made it even cooler.
Oh.
And actually, when I mentioned it a while back, one of our listeners sent I'm sure they sent a screen grab of it. It still exists. The lady has my phone number. She might have lost it. Hopefully she hasn't. Because I said to her, listen, I'd love to buy that car. And she said, oh, you don't know how much hassle it's taken me to get this car. And she regaled this thing of like, you know, me and my husband have had 7 brand new BMWs. And she went in the dealer to buy a new 5. And the M3 had just come out, which would have been E36. And it was in yellow in the showroom. She said, I absolutely love that colour. I want my 520, please, my 520i in that colour. And they went, oh, I'm ever so sorry, madam, that's not going to be possible. And she went, what do you mean? You make it, it's a BMW colour. And anyway, she took it, she escalated the issue to the top and spoke to someone off of Germany. And ultimately, they went, all right, as you've bought 7 other brand new BMWs, because she really blew her top out of them. And they made it. And I bet you that is the only one. And I love that about her. And she's kept it for a long time. That. And I would own that car.
I love the fact that there's people out there who've bought 7 different Porsches, Cayennes and Taycans and stuff like that to be able to get a shot at a GT3 RS. And people who've bought 7 different Ferraris and they dived in on the Pura Sangue just to be sure they could get some super rare hypercar that's coming.
Yeah.
But this lady bought 7 BMWs and exercised her privilege that comes from that to buy a yellow 520. It's brilliant.
It is brilliant. And if anyone who listens to this pod is based on the Isle of Man, can you please find her for me so I can contact her again, remind her that I still actually want that car? I'm totally
just
serious.
wear her down.
And I'll even, do you know what, Rich? If I get the opportunity to buy it, you will come with me and we'll go over there for a long weekend and a knees up. How about that?
I've never been to the Isle of Man.
I've only ever been twice, and it was both for motorcycle related.
I've only ever been twice. It's not. I mean, that's still
it's a lesser known James Bond
film than me. You only go to the Isle of Man twice.
Yes, I liked it, but I'd like to stay longer.
It was weird for me because growing up in the northwest of England, the Isle of Man was covered by our regional TV area. So sometimes on the BBC local news, after the main news, they'd have Isle of Man stories. But so in a way, the Isle of Man felt quite close, and because of part of the family, because they got covered on our local news. But the other times, you sort of went.
Was it Manx News?
Well, it was just they just sort of go and police are still looking for the arsonist in the Altrincham area. Meanwhile, on the Isle of Man, police are looking into it. You'd go, what? The Isle of Man? But that's bloody miles away. And but somehow it was part of the Northwest, according to broadcasters.
The outer
Northwest.
I
sort of somehow felt simpatico with the Isle of Man, but I've still never bothered to go there.
Well, you should go. I'd like to go. Maybe we'll end up doing a gig over there. We might get, say, 16 people turn up. But it'd be lots of fun, especially if I went home with a yellow 520D. Not D, 520i. Now, we're talking of IOM and the obvious connections with motorbikes. Do you know what I saw the other day? I saw one of those. It was a motorbike, not a moped. So it's probably available with larger engines, but it was a 50cc. And the engine looks completely lost in the frame. Completely lost. It almost looks like a serving suggestion of an engine. It's like this is half scale, but it'll be like this but bigger when you buy it.
If you keep watering this, it'll turn into a proper engine.
Yes, it's like those little dinosaurs that kids have, and then you water it and it grows.
Yeah, never really as big as the child is hoping, in my experience, but they do grow. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. So I saw this motorcycle, and it had a hilariously small motor in it. I actually felt sorry for the engine. I almost went, because it would have been under such strain. But
why did it have this small engine?
Well, because I guess you can buy a 250 of the same frame, and a lot of people that ride like small motorbikes and learn to ride, they want a motorbike-looking motorbike rather than a scooter or a...
Yes, yeah.
But the problem is it's over-framed and under-engined.
Because I would still think that you would go 125, would you not?
You would.
50 seems too small.
But you might not be able to afford the cost of insurance and running and maybe a 16. I don't bloody know.
Okay.
Look, I don't make these rules up, Rich.
I didn't say you did, and I would never expect you to. Well, you've got a lot on already.
I have. But here's where it gets better.
Yeah.
So besides this obvious gaping hole in the frame where you could pretty much fire a blunderbuss and it would miss the bike and go through the air.
Was there so much space that you could sort of keep other stuff? Like you could have a box that you could put your jacket in and things?
Yeah. In fact, I'd quite like a box that looked like an extra cylinder. And then... And that's where
just a big cylinder, but you could open it up and you could put a bottle of wine in it.
Yeah,
it's
why
air
not?
cooled.
Yeah, you pull into like Lidl and you do a little bit of shopping. You put it in your faux cylinder box. I quite like that. That'd be cool. You go, oh wow, you've got a V twin. Yeah, mate. Yeah, she's running really well. Yeah, oh, that looks neat. I like it. Yeah, I'm just going to open up the other cylinder and put Watsits.
A bottle of Chablis in there. Just some Watsits.
Well,
for lightness.
This one I saw, it reminded me. So, no name full suspension mountain bike guy. We all know about him now. Every town's got one, especially by a towpath. But the person riding this motorbike had no name motorcycle safety gear, and I think we know the stuff. So you're wearing the necessary safety gear, like a sort of padded, waterproof jacket and trousers, things with elbow pads. But it's always got a name on it, which or a squiggle that you think is a name, but is it a logo? I actually don't know. Is it supposed to look like a dragon, like a Chinese dragon, or is it actually just someone's name? I don't know. And I've noticed this a few times recently, so I think there's a bit of a like no-name motorcycle safety gear guy in every town. And you said to me, doesn't somebody wake you up in the early hours almost every day or every morning, going past on an exceptionally loud but slow motorbike?
There is somebody who goes down my street at, I think, 5 a.m.
And it's
I presume that's
at VMAX.
And they... incredibly farty motorbike, and it clearly has like 7 horsepower, and they're using all of them and just pinning it down my street. And I'm always asleep, but then suddenly I'm not asleep because of this bloke. It's because it's the summer and got the windows open and stuff. But
but it's
I
like
wonder if
someone
he is an unbranded motorcycle safety gear man.
It is, but the exhaust sounds a bit like when you blow a couple of blades of grass through your thumbs. You know that trick?
This one's a bit bassier. This sounds like a donkey farting through a trumpet. It's insistent. And that's the thing. Sometimes maybe it's 5:30 to 6. I don't really know, but I'm sort of stirring and I'm half awake and I can hear it coming.
That's the problem, because it passes your house so slowly.
Yes.
It doesn't go...
Well, that's
it.
The, what's it called? The Doppler effect is pronounced that from that and from my static position trying to be asleep, I can tell it's passing by quite slowly, but the noise would lead me to believe that it's doing 220 miles an hour because it sounds so frantic. One day, maybe
walking pace.
His passing of my house will coincide with me getting up to have a middle-aged man piss in the middle of the night or whatever it is, the time he goes by, and I'll actually be able to see him, because I am slightly consumed with this desire to see. In my head, do you know what it is, though? It's not a modern bike. It's one of those sort of 1930s bikes. What? And he's crouched incredibly low, like he's Bonneville Soul Flat trying to set a record. But actually, he's doing 17 miles an hour.
But he's pinned.
I don't know.
And he goes...
Pinned.
There's speed ramps near you from memory, but they're the ones that are domed. Yeah. So there's a gap between one and the other one. So he keeps it pinned and goes between the speed ramps, right?
That's what's interesting. No, there's one you cannot avoid. But the audio that I'm hearing from the comfort of my bed suggests that he does not lift, which in itself is interesting, but it then also informs me that he is doing not many miles an hour, because if he was, he'd take off.
But there'd be a really long, drawn-out, rather pedestrian tank slapper afterwards, wouldn't there?
Yeah. Well, because the other thing is, have you ever watched racing at Cadwell Park? And when they get to the top of the hill at Cadwell Park, a lot of cars, particularly single-seaters, they go a bit light.
Yeah.
And it's quite thrilling, because you hear this little flare of revs.
Or
the back wheels just unload.
The motorbikes jump or wheelie.
This is the thing. So I'm thinking this guy is not getting enough speed up to even make his bike go light over the speed bumps so that you'd get a flare of revs. It's just...
And his knee sliders that are velcroed onto his sort of no-name motorcycle trousers, they've the generic tribal tattoo pattern on them has never been grazed, ever. It's in perfect condition because he ain't getting his knee down on that, is he?
He's either got full but unbranded kit on, or, given it's the summer, he's one of those people who aggressively motorcycles in shorts and a T-shirt and makes me feel a bit...
Oh, queasy.
Icky about what would happen, yeah.
Oh, horrible. Horrible.
Anyway,
well,
talking as we are sort of about motorbikes or scooters, I'll do a little stitch back to last week, and I was talking about the Mediterranean dismount of a scooter that I observed on holiday in Mallorca. We had an email from a listener called Jordan Winning. He says, on the recent topic of Mediterranean scooter dismounts, I bore witness to a particularly extravagant one. I was recently at the Monaco Grand Prix as a 30th birthday present, and while wandering round Fontville Harbour, is it pronounced that?
Did you say Fauville Harbour?
Fontville.
Okay.
It's the one on the other side of Monaco, Jordan points out. So he's wandering around there looking at the yachts, and a very clean example of an E30 M3 with a Panama hat in the back window, which he's attached a photo, and it is tidy AF. I think it's US spec because it's got side markers. I'll put the picture on the Patreon.
A clean example of the mark.
Well, he just says it's a very clean example of the mark, and he is absolutely right. Anyway, while he was doing this, he says, I noticed a small speedboat approaching the jetty, where a man was standing waiting for the boat with a 2-stroke scooter idling away.
Oh, wow.
On the front of the approaching boat stood a figure with a helmet on, looking rather stern and serious, much like the Stig. Before the boat even came to a stop, the figure bounced off, took one step, and gracefully jumped onto the scooter in one smooth, salsa-inspired movement. The scooter was then immediately redlined down the pier, swerving around me and 2 small children as if they were the swimming pool chicane.
Oh, my gosh.
Even the 2 small steps onto the pavement were no issue. He simply launched off them straight onto the road, with the throttle absolutely pinned and the little 2-stroke screaming its head off. What? Seeing as I became a mobile chicane on this pier, I was able to look the figure straight in the eye as he approached me, and had a brief moment of starstruckdom as my inner 12-year-old couldn't believe who was rapidly approaching. It was Spanish amigo himself, Fernando Alonso.
Was it? I was just about to say, that sounds like someone who's very famous and needs to just get a shimmy on.
Yeah, but their scooter, in this case, mounting rather than dismounting, it's an absolute giveaway. That's someone who grew up on the Iberian Peninsula.
Yeah. I was going to ask, was it also a jewellery thief? Because it sounds like the kind of thing where they'd done a bit of a job, got away on a boat, nicked something off a super yacht, and now they've gone to land before the cops give chase. And maybe that has happened. I'm not saying Alonso is or isn't a criminal, because I don't really know. but
I mean, he does all right, doesn't he? At the does. Grand Prix racing. I don't think he's any need to turn over a jewelry shop.
He does it for the sport. Come on, Rich. He does it for the sport.
Oh, it's for the thrill. Oh, these crims.
The cash
it's for the thrill of it.
He's just nicked a dirty little Krugerrand off a ring, off a well-known millionaire on a super yacht, and he just thought, I'm going to see if I can get away with this. Let's see what happens.
It's when he's on the podium and he's got a wry smile on your face, and you think it's because he's placed third. It's because he's got some stolen diamonds in his pocket.
That's exactly it.
We're not suggesting Fernando Alonso is a thief. This is purely just whimsy. But Jordan finishes by saying that he was quickly informed by his girlfriend that Fernando Alonso is a handsome man and apparently dated Taylor Swift.
Well,
I thought that had been subsequently denied, but I
don't know about that. But it's very interesting that you bring the lady's name up, because I've actually wanted to talk about this.
What about Tay-Tay?
My daughter went to see Taylor Swift a couple of nights ago, and got back at 4 a.m. Shock horror. Yes, she was with an adult. Don't worry, listeners. And but do you know what? She showed me some imagery of the stage show and the vast lights and everything. It looked amazing.
Yeah.
Big crowds, obviously.
Mm.
But you know what I thought it was missing?
DJ Khaled?
No, nothing's missing DJ Khaled.
No, it's true.
I thought to myself, there's an opportunity missed here. Why isn't Taylor Swift supported by Paul Swift, the stunt driver? He could be.
Oh, what?
Imagine if he was.
Lovely synergy.
Imagine if he was reversing furiously amongst the backing dancers while there was one of the hits were being sung. And he sort of auto-tested his way around Taylor Swift. I would absolutely love that. That would have been cool as, wouldn't it?
The Swifts live in concert.
Yeah, and then Taylor gets in the passenger seat of, I don't know, a Mustang that's being absolutely redlined and having its back end toasted. And she carries on the song, and then, of course, Paul puts it up on two wheels and does that crazy two-wheel manoeuvre, and she climbs out in the sort of like the way that the Arabs do in Dubai and places like that, and then start to change the front or side wheel while the car's going along, which I always get really terrified of, because you just think, when this goes wrong, it's going to be so awful. So I think Taylor Swift, I think the feedback has been amazing, and she's clearly on top of her game and dominating the music world, but Paul Swift's a good guy, Taylor. If you're listening to this, or your people are, I think this is what your stage show might need. Just a little bit of slightly northern, jolly auto testing. That's what it needs.
And then he goes off stage for a bit, and then the gig is coming to an end, and she comes on for the encore, and the last song she plays is her hit single Getaway Car, and Paul comes flying back on.
Oh, yeah.
In a chrome wrapped Focus RS.
Oh, wow.
And that's it. And then Taylor says, "Thank you, good night," and jumps in, and Paul absolutely lights it up.
Yeah, he can't resist. He can't resist doing the dog with worms front wheel drive burnout. So he's got
it's wiggling. I mean,
the handbrake is clicked up a bit. The handbrake's clicked up, so the back's squatting and the front's just lit up, and it's crabbing like crazy.
That's a great idea. I mean, I don't have a contact for Taylor Swift, but if anyone does, drop her a line, let her know, because it's not too late. She's still got a few dates on this tour to go. Yeah, I imagine.
Yeah,
I don't, because I was thinking about this, and I was thinking that dating Taylor Swift, I would find a very unrelaxing experience, simply because you'd be like, oh God, has she written a song about this yet? Is she going to write a song about it? Oh God, are we going to split up? And she's going to write, oh no, I don't want to be the subject of a song.
Well, I think dating anybody exceptionally famous must be not just weird, but perhaps a little bit paranoia-inducing. For various reasons. I mean, for a start, you couldn't possibly do a piss in your back garden, even if you're in the countryside. You just couldn't.
No,
it would rob you of that right. Which is a shame.
I mean, it's interesting that that's where you went, rather than I just don't want people taking pictures while we're walking down the street. But yeah,
no, I'm not bothered about that.
Piss in the back garden is.
Yeah, but I do like. I would like to still be able to do the sort of basic caveman things that I do so much enjoy.
Taylor Swift's new squeeze. YouTuber Johnny Smith spotted urinating in his own garden.
Crouching down, wearing dressing gown with no tie whatsoever, and stroking what appears to be two tortoises. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think you should go out with Taylor Swift.
No, I don't think she would.
It's fraught with peril.
No. Don't worry, it's okay. It's not going to happen, I think, Rich. I had a nightmare of a journey today coming back to home. Travelling back from a barn find that I was filming, and got stuck. I was in the Shropshire, Worcestershire borders, which a beautiful part of the world. I'm very fond of them.
Shropshire's a very underrated county, isn't it?
Love it,
because it sort of keeps out of the way.
It does, and it sort of smears into a beautiful part of Wales, and the Worcestershire smears into the Shropshire bit, but. What I love also is the fact there's an immense amount of fruit farming goes on there. Good pears, good apples. I'm a big fan of both. And I went past, on a very, very drivable corner, I went past, unless I read it incorrectly, a fruit stud farm. Now,
What?
I'm not a farmer. I enjoy the country life. But I know about stud farms for horses, the equestrian world, but this was a fruit stud farm. So I want this clarified by somebody, whether that is a thing or not.
I mean, I know they try and refine fruit, particularly with the supermarkets being very demanding of what they want from fruit.
Yeah, and unwonky
I
stuff.
Am I right in saying the Pink Lady apple is a sort of hybrid breed that's been created by humans for some reason or other?
Well, it was created by Olivia Newton-John and some friends of hers they just sort of started hanging around customised cars in the 50s when everyone was, I don't know, drinking milkshakes at 11 at night, which to me just sounds like a terrible idea. But anyway.
Oh, you're going to feel so bilious when you go to bed.
Hey, does anyone want to come into town? It's midnight. I'm going to get a massive amount of frozen yoghurt, and then I'm going to have a chocolate milkshake, and then I'm going to have some donuts. You're going to go, what? You're going to be off your face all night.
Yeah, you're not going to sleep. You might as well bang a load of amphetamines.
Yeah. What a terrible idea.
The Pink Lady apple more successful than the Silver Lady apple created by David Soul.
Oh, yes.
A few years ago.
Silver
didn't take
Lady.
off, even though he recorded a theme tune for it.
I actually like that song. Is that bad?
I think I probably do as well.
I think I bought it. I know I bought it with my brother Greg. We bought it on 12-inch. It was on an album with a load of other things.
What? But surely that song predates your life.
It does, because
it was from the mid-70s.
We bought it from a school jumble sale for 2 pence.
Oh, I see. Well, I hope David Soul got his royalties off that.
But I remember that's the first time I heard it. We played it on an old record player, and there were a load of other disco hits on it, which were quite good. One called The Crunch, which I'm very fond of. If you've never, I can't remember who it's by, but it's called The Crunch, and it's a very distinctive song. So we enjoyed that one, but we enjoyed the David Soul Silver Lady as well. My brother used to play it on 78, and so of course, as a young kid, anyone sounded like a chipmunk was funny. But yeah, so I what was I going to say?
Stud fruit.
Oh, stud fruit. Yeah, so the stud fruit thing really threw me. So I started thinking about whether that was real and whether I just dreamt it. Meanwhile, I get stuck behind a caravan for a long amount of time, to the point where I'm about 20 minutes off pace from the sat-nav. And we all know how infuriating that can be.
Oh, that's 20 minutes is a lot.
20 minutes. The roads were too curvy and too narrow. I couldn't overtake. So in the end, I bottled it. I went, right. I saw a sign for a farm shop and I dived in. Screeched into the car park. I didn't screech at all because it was actually just loose gravel. So I went in. And I bottomed out on the inside because the back suspension's still completely wanked, even though I've got brand new adjustable dampers in the boot. In the box, they're not actually on the car. Johnny, you're a fool. So I went into the farm shop with high expectations. It looked impressive, Rich. There were good plants outside. The signage was impressive. I went in, saw lots of fruit and veg, and went, right, I'm going to get a sandwich. I'm going to go to the toilet. This is going to be great. Don't do sandwiches. Oh.
What?
Can I get a coffee? No, we don't do coffee. Right.
Oh, come on.
So I went to the toilet. The toilet's
what do they do?
Well, I went round the back to the toilet, and they have a dinosaur-themed crazy golf course. So I was like, what?
Of course they do. Can't get a coffee machine, but dinosaur-themed crazy golf, we're all over it.
Honestly, I couldn't believe it. So as I was walking out, I said, so do you do any lunch stuff? I just want to stop for lunch. And it was actual lunchtime. It was 1:30. It wasn't like 4 PM when nothing was left. So he went, over there in the field, in the bus, she'll do hot food, possibly sandwiches. So I thought, what? I went outside and looked across from where I was parked, and in the middle of a field was a shabby double-decker bus with this awning on the side. So I thought, okay, well, I'm getting desperate. I went over there, and it had a sign that was extremely faded because I couldn't see it until I was about 10 steps away from it, that said, Thai in the Sky, THAI. And I thought, okay, there was a menu, English food, Thai food. I just thought, well, I looked at the English food and I thought, oh, look, there's a jacket potato. Quite fancy a jacket potato. Why not? Said, hi there, excuse me, can I have a jacket potato? And this very small, quite old Thai lady looked up and just went, no. And I went, okay.
You can have a round of dinosaur-themed Crazy Golf.
And it was very, very quiet afterwards. She didn't follow it up with any other things. And then she went, chips? And I went, no, thanks. I don't really want chips. And I looked at the Thai menu and I thought, I saw like Thai fish cakes and rice. I said, oh, can I have some of the Thai fish cakes and rice, please? She went, yeah. So she started frying those and making those. And you know when you order food and you immediately think, I don't think I should have done this. I don't think it's a good idea. This was one of those situations, Rich. She gave it to me and I walked away and I sat in the car park in the car and ate it because there was nowhere to sit. It was a very odd farm shop that wasn't very farm shoppy, I don't think. Didn't see any like yoga mums for a start. And then started eating this food and it was really not very nice. Okay, so I ate most of it because I was very hungry and got straight back on the road full of regret. Absolutely full of regret. And I was then paranoid. I thought, once I get onto the M5, I'm going to end up with the squits. I know I am. I'm going to end up Audi Quattroing, going at both ends. I'm going to be in a bad state.
Oh.
But it turns out I was all right. But do you know what I used as a distraction? I started to work out if there is any kind of formula or algorithm to how many left and right vigorous indicating thanks manoeuvres are done by van drivers and lorry drivers. Do you know what I mean by that?
Yes.
The vigorous left on the stalk, right on the stalk, left, right on the stalk.
I think it's a lost art, isn't it? Because apart from anything else, I think...
I've seen a lot of it.
Do you think? I thought everyone's moved over to the hazards.
I think car drivers, we go hazards.
No, because I think that car drivers copied it from van drivers. And I would say industry standard is 2.
Yes.
3 is okay. Any more is just you've forgotten and left your hazards on.
Well,
but
can I just
think
say
that it's because of the introduction of the lane change indicator that does 3 flashes. Do trucks have those? I don't know. Someone will tell us.
I don't know.
I thought that had killed off the aggressive left, right, left, right.
I had the most aggressively thankful left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right on a truck. I burst out laughing. It was amazing. I thought this stalk's going to come off.
They're never going to stop.
The damn stalk's going to come off. And then I thought the R&D on truck drivers' indicator stalks must be phenomenal. It must get so much pounding.
Yeah.
So much pounding.
Maybe they factor this in.
Yeah, they must do.
Someone will tell us, I'm sure. But yeah, this is... No, do you know what? I feel like I haven't seen a left, right for a long time, and I'd love to see one, because it's a bit of an art form, really, isn't it? You've got to do it right.
It's like it's like the indicator version of winking or handshaking, is it? But not a seedy wink, like just a, all right, mate, kind of thankful wink. One of them. It's like that, isn't it?
I guess so.
I quite like that.
I feel like it's almost it's the sort of indicating equivalent of throwing a hacky sack between your hands.
Ooh, a hacky sack.
Do you remember those?
I do. That's very 80s.
It's a really up-to-date reference.
Yeah. So, Tie in the Sky, this bus that I bought my food from,
which you're giving a glowing TripAdvisor review to, clearly.
Well, it made me wonder, why was it called Tie in the Sky? There was the other thing I was mulling over as I was eating it.
I just assumed when he said the name that all of the lady and everything was on the top deck of the bus, and that's why.
No one was on the top deck. It was all on the bottom. And
what was the top deck doing there, then?
I dread to think what was going on in the top deck. I just don't know. I didn't see. But all I think was, I get it, Tie in the Sky. Sounds like pie in the sky. But a bus is a vehicle that will never go in the sky, ever.
No.
It's always going to be land-based, isn't it? Always.
No, puns have to sort of make sense in the... I mean, just that's bollocks.
Yeah. If she was hovering in a really spindly, cheap, piston-powered helicopter in the farmyard, and you had to shout.
Dropping fish cakes on people.
Yeah, you had to shout your order up to her, and she'd just throw it. That's tie in the sky, because she's cooking
Can
Thai.
you think of anything more perilous than using a deep fat fryer in a cheap spindly helicopter hovering about 30 feet over Shropshire? Awful.
Especially if you checked your weather app and it's going to say there's going to be some really unpredictable gusts in the next 5 minutes, sort of between about 15 to 25 miles an hour. Oh, okay.
You've reminded me that once I went canal boating through Shropshire, because that's sort of what you do there, isn't it? And we moored up one evening. There was a sign for a pub by a bridge, so we moored up and we walked up the lane past the bridge to this absolutely textbook country pub, and it was a beautiful summer's evening. Walked in, and they'd got a full curry menu.
Wow.
And it turned out the chef was Sri Lankan, and it was one of the best curries I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
I mean, this was like 30 years ago, and I can still remember it. It was a sensationally good curry with a couple of pints in a beautiful country pub on a summer's evening.
Are you going to do a 3-decade-old TripAdvisor with that and shout out?
Yeah, I should. If I could remember any of the details beyond it was in Shropshire, then I would happily endorse that pub as long as you went there in 1994 or thereabouts. It might have been like 98.
Don't remember the name of the pub?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Don't remember. I mean, you could probably, if you had a whole day and you wanted to poirot the shit out of it, you could probably just follow the route of the Shropshire Union Canal.
Poirot the shit out of it.
But I haven't got the time. Can I do a little stitch back to last week and your autocorrect car names?
Oh yeah. What was mine again? I was trying to remember. Was it it was Pagani Huayra that changed it to? Was it?
We're really good at this, so we can't even remember things we've said.
I'd have to look at it. No, hang on. Let me see if I wrote it down, because it was quite funny, or I could just...
I can't remember. Well, anyway, while you look that up...
it was paganism guaranteed.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, instead of Pagani Huayra.
Paganism. Well, one of our patrons, Anthony Williams, he says, whenever I type Twingo on my phone, it autocorrects to Twinge, the Renault Twinge. Oh, it's got me again. I've got my Renault Twinge.
A trap nerve.
A listener called Pete, who's in the US, says, I find that most well-known marks are recognised by the spell check.
Oh.
And alphanumeric model names don't yield much humour, but results improve if you try the more obscure brands, to wit. The Rimac Nevera autocorrects to Roman Movers. The Di Tommaso Pantera is Detonator Painters.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's brilliant.
Deo Matiz is Darwin Matrix. And Koenigsegg Agera also corrects to Kinda Agrees.
Kinda agrees.
Kinda agrees. Which is weird, isn't it? It's like, so autocorrect can do sort of slightly slangy things like kinda, but it can't do Koenigsegg Agera.
We've got our own grid full of no-name supercars. This is brilliant. I love this. What was the Di Tommaso Pantera again? Detonates.
Di Tommaso Pantera is Detonator Painters.
See, I mean, if that isn't a support band for, I don't know, Arctic Monkeys, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it'd be right.
That's brilliant.
Adam Merritt says, I dabble in some YouTube, so I write down a lot of car names, some to hyperventilating fits of laughter. I don't know what's wrong with my phone. He says that when he tries to do Ferrari 458, it replaces 458 with his phone number.
Yeah, that's cool.
The Ford Racing Puma becomes the Fine Racing Pubes.
What?
It changes Lamborghini Aventador to Lancelot Aventador, which it just sounds like a fine gladiator.
That's brilliant.
Lotus Exige becomes Locust Escape.
Locust.
Honda, I don't know what phone he's got, but it's clearly not very good at autocorrect, because Honda changes to Hobnobs. I mean, maybe it's because they do learn, don't they? So it's maybe he types Hobnobs more than Honda, and it's just.
But we don't want the phone to learn in this instance, because we need to set up a leaderboard. This is worthy of a leaderboard.
Adam says his phone does Mitsubishi Evo to Menstruation Evolution.
Oh gosh,
I know.
Wow.
And the Koenigsegg CCX, when he tried to type that, it changed it to koala sex.
This is so good. I knew it would hatch open some joy. I just knew
just a couple more.
Koala sex. Christian von Koenigsegg releases his new car.
Well, no, Christian Koala.
Yes,
with his new car, the sex. Richard Colborne says that when he tries to type Skoda Superb, it changes it to Skoda Superbad.
See, that's
which is actually quite good. Yeah.
Actually, Skoda should use that. That should be instead of VRS, because the badge looks rubbish, Skoda. And I prefer it to say Superbad.
That really works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, even the Skoda Octavia Superbad.
It'd be brilliant.
Have you seen, they just announced the other day, they've done, and I find this is sort of slightly odd because they've celebrated the end of the current Superb, because there's a new Superb come out.
Yeah.
But Skoda UK have had this one-off Superb made. They've called it the Sleeper Edition. And they've basically taken, I presume this is like an old press car or something, because it's on a 23 plate in the pictures. It's one of their top-of-the-range Lorient Clermont Superbs, 4x4 one as well. So it's a turbo 2-litre, essentially the Golf GTI engine. And it's a lovely spec, this one-off show car. It's dark green with a tan interior. But they handed it over to a tuning firm. I can't remember who. And RE Performance, I've just found it.
Religious Education Performance.
Religious Education Performance. They've dropped the ride with some KW coilovers, so it's 50 millimetres lower. It's got AP racing brakes with 6-pot calipers, and the main headline is that they've given it a different turbo, a bigger intercooler, and instead of 276 horsepower, which it would normally have, it now has 470.
Bloody hell.
But aside from the ride height being a bit lower, it just looks like a very smart, superb estate. It's a very appealing idea. It's just a one-off. I don't think they're selling it. They're just saying,
that should be the Superbad, shouldn't it?
But that is the Superbad, isn't it? That is the Skoda Superb Superbad. I mean, it's perfect. They've called it the Sleeper Edition, but Superbad is a great name.
Can that tuning company do a run-out, I don't know, say, we're only going to do 20 of them, and they buy them to your spec, or you spec them up and take them to them, and then they do the Superbad tune? That'd be great.
Well, if you're Religious Education Performance, give us a shout. Cut us in on this, because it's a good idea. Just one last autocorrect, which is not strictly cars, but I said that I once wrote Christmas and started typing TU, and my phone went turtle, as if Christmas turtle is a thing.
Christmas turtle.
Tom Lanigan said I started to text, I'm going to boil the kettle, but as I typed the K, it auto-corrected it to kids.
Boil the kids.
I'm just going to boil the kids.
Oh, dear.
But as I said last week, I think it's like we sort of think that the phone is sentient because sometimes it seems quite clever, and it's moments like that where you realise it's not. It doesn't know what it's doing.
They're all brilliant. Now, I know we've just seen Pebble Beach, Car Week, as Americans call it, with the Quail and the other majestic car shows that happen in Monterey Bay. We got a little bit of FOMO, I have to say. It did look good, and you and I haven't been for centuries. We really should go. But I saw that the lots of special edition Porsche stuff, as you'd expect, from Roof and Gunther Works, and they're both great, really well turned out cars. But the Gunther Works, I noticed, is called the GWR. Yeah, now, to me...
Like the slightly vexing train service that I have to use.
Exactly, Great Western Railway. I thought to myself, as soon as I saw it, I could see the GWR logo of old, with the big W and the small G and the smaller R. And I thought
still sort of, that is their logo.
Is it still? Well, Great Western Railway, I think, and Gunther Works, I didn't think it would be a good collab, but the more I think about it, they could be excellent. I mean, British trains couldn't be any shitter for a start.
Well, I was going to say, perhaps they could increase the performance of the Bath to Paddington fucking service instead of it having to run incredibly slowly like it did to me the other morning, which, I mean, I granted there's a track problem, so that's probably...
Yeah, but you probably paid £600 for a single ticket and you had to sit next to the lavs.
No, I got a seat, but somehow, and this is probably my fault, I screwed up my booking because I always, if I'm going early on a weekday morning, this is very fascinating, but I'm going to plug on anyway. I like facing the direction of travel, table seat with a window, or by the window.
Oh, are you quite specific?
Somehow I'd screwed it up. Well, it lets you be specific, and I always go, that's what I sort of want. And there's space on my laptop, I can see out, and I'm sort of facing the way you're going, so that if you see something interesting by the track, usually a car, you've got time to do a rapid head swivel to check what you saw. If you're going backwards, you see things and it's too late, they're gone.
Oh, I like going backwards.
Do you?
Yeah, I feel like it's a bit more exotic.
Oh.
But I don't entirely know why. It's because I don't ever do that in a car. I don't sit and relax.
I mean, you could give it a go. We could get in that chap that we've had at a couple of our live shows who came over from Ireland, who's a demon for reversing long distances. He could chauffeur you places.
Do you know what?
If you really want
to. If we ever do, when we have threatened to do a couple of Irish...
we are, yeah. We've got to get that sorted out.
We have to get him to chauffeur us back to our hotel afterwards. Or to the pub. What could possibly go wrong, of course? Now,
look, we're going to wrap this up in a minute. I just wanted to do sorry, this is Stitch Back Central here, but we had so many messages after last week's show for some reason. And one of them was actually after last week's Autocorrect. You know, we had a listener who had a problem with their BMW i3.
Yes, the Rex.
We've had, a couple of listeners. Alex Campbell was one of them, and Martin Parlow, both recommending a place called Wisley, or maybe Wisely Automotive, who are in...
is it Wisely?
Wisely. It's spelt Wisely, so I'm going to say it's Wisely. They're on the edge of London, and apparently they are good at fixing i3s. We're not affiliated with them. I don't think Alex or Martin are either, but they've both said they're good people to sort out i3 problems. So I thought that's quite good. Also, Jake Bell, who was the guy who wrote in asking about cars for a massive Euro road trip.
Oh, yes.
So I took a stab at his age. Jake's written in and said he's 26, so we're a bit close at the age guess. He's a design engineer, so he's quite insurable, and he doesn't have children. So just good to fill in those details. He says he's going to report back. But he says, annoying when you mentioned an LS400, as I've always wanted one, but the Phaeton is interesting. So do keep us posted on that, Jake.
I think LS400, to me, it has a strange allure. I think because it's so regular looking, the intrigue is with the sheer quality of everything, and I think that's what...
Yeah.
I think... I'm not alone when I say this on the podcast.
Is it a sign of age that you just really get off on quality? But
you've been around and you know the score. You know what you like, and you want something that's going to
just want the doors to fit. Yeah. No, it's
I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay.
All right.
With that.
Well, I think that's fine. You got to own it. Anyway, look, we should wrap this up, but before we do. 3 things to tell you. They are: 1, Johnny is embarking on a new project to remake a seminal 80s Bruce Willis action film, but starring our favourite female singer. It's under the working title Die Shard. Hey. If that's not to your taste, then there is the Late Break Show. Lots of excellent videos on there. What's going on at the moment?
Well, so if I've got my datings right, well, by the time you listen to this, there's a barn fight that's just gone live, and I think it might tickle your fancy because I'll let the cat out of the bag here. It's an extremely rare Vauxhall fast saloon that's not a Lotus Carlton. It's in fact so rare that I didn't even know it existed. One of apparently 2 made, and it's yes. And you and I have form here because of the Eagle Quest. It's a Vauxhall Senator B Courtney Turbo conversion.
Shit off.
No, fact. Made when new, converted when new. So 3 litre 12 valve. They didn't do the 24 valve, and it has a single turbo, and it was converted by Courtney, who. They still exist, Courtney Sport. They converted lots of Vauxhalls in the 80s and 90s to turbo because they're a Norfolk-based Vauxhall dealer, as it turned out. I managed to get in touch with them after this Scottish chap emailed us and said, I've got this car and I've had it many years and I'm pretty sure it's one of only 2. And he was absolutely right. We don't think the other one exists anymore. But, such a cool car. I was really into it. I just think it's a very classy thing, and it was just cool to have a poke around it, give it a clean, and try and strike it up.
I can't mentally disassociate Courtney, the respected Vauxhall tuners, from Dave Courtney, the slap-headed gangster.
Dave Courtney's sport, or as he would say,
But you can imagine that Dave Courtney's the kind of man who would like a sporty Vauxhall for some
he would
reason.
absolutely love it. A big 3-boxer so that you can fit 3 tooled men in the back and lots of gear in the boot, nondescript gear.
Yeah.
And this is the car for you.
I believe he would say shooters.
Yes, exactly. He's packing heat, Rich. He's packing heat.
I don't think he'd say that. I think he'd say tooled up, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he's fucking tooled up, isn't he? He speaks through his teeth a little bit like that. So, that's what's on the menu, my friend. And,
lovely. Okay.
Yeah.
The second thing I've got to tell you is I've got various books out. One of them is Steel Flies by Roy Lanchester, a spoof Cold War thriller by a fake car journalist. And the third thing that I have to tell you is that do you know where the longest brick wall in England is?
The longest brick wall. Norfolk.
Oh, it's a good guess. And I bet there's some long brick walls there.
Yeah, there are.
But no, it's actually it's Charborough Park or Charborough House in Dorset.
Ah.
And the wall is claimed to be 3 miles long.
3 miles?
Yeah.
I wonder if
the longest continuous brick wall.
Dorset. I bet you around about the joyriding area, so very start of the 90s-ish. I wonder how many cars penetrated the wall.
Oh, God. I mean, that's the thing. They're saying it's the longest continuous brick wall, but I bet it had a series of novas stuffed through it, and so it's not actually continuous at all.
I bet it did. In fact, one of them's still in it. They just sort of bricked around it and entombed it.
Yeah. It's England's longest continuous stretch of written-off novas.
Is it still classed as a continuous wall if it has a Vauxhall in it? I think it probably is.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and one thing I'd like to say before we sign off, and just simple one, to just say, I am so sorry to hear that the Ford Probe prototype caught on fire and has been killed after Pebble Beach.
Yes, I saw that.
Really sad.
Yeah. It's shit, isn't it? But it did prompt me to read the full sort of history of all of those Ford Probe concept cars. The Probe 5, I'd forgotten about, is sensational. And I think it's actually owned by the same people who owned the Probe 1, which sadly caught fire in a trailer on the way back from Pebble Beach.
Well, nobody likes any cars catching fire, really, but one-offs, that's tough to see. It's tough to see, so sorry to hear that. But anyway, thanks, guys, for listening. Yeah?
Yes, we'll do this all again next week.
Yeah.
Well, we'll do it on Friday, in fact, because we've got odds on. And then, you're on holiday next week, aren't we? So it'll probably be another best of next Monday.
Yeah, I'm going to try and go on holiday.
You've earned it.
Thanks, mate. I'm going to just drive on the motorway and do just lots and lots of left and right indicator thankses.
You want to get yourself over to Shropshire and have some fish cakes from an inexplicably named double-decker bus in a field.
Do you know what?
Play some dinosaur golf.
Please don't. I do the golf, but I'm definitely not doing the fish cakes again, seriously. Rancid.
Fair enough. All right. Well, on that note, thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Bye, guys. Cheers, mate. Thanks, mate. Bye.
So you've enjoyed this podcast, but you've had a thought. Is there a way here today that you could show support? Well, you could join our Patreon. What wonders that it brings. Early shows and extra notes on that side of things. You could buy our merchandise. We've mugs and hats, but still no ties. One day we will make those pies, but in the meantime, guys, hey guys, like and subscribe, and maybe leave a nice review. Like and subscribe, we know you know just what to do. Like and subscribe, we don't want to take the piss. Like and subscribe, but we were told
datings.